Mutation is a difficult terminology in many ways because it deals with all kinds of aspects of life, doesn't it? All the way from biological content to change of materials, change of human basic elements. So I think when that is transferred into architecture, into architectural terms, the theories of how you deal with mutations as such will have a large impact on how you sort of move forwards with the concepts that you're doing. And you will have to limit yourself at a very early stage, developing concepts dealing with mutant architecture, because otherwise it's such a wild field. What we did was to try to understand the void, which is a continuous changing social space. So in this case, it's the void. It's this space, the look-through space, and the material itself. And the material itself is interesting, the marble from Carrara, because it is a stone still developing. It's an unfinished stone. It has an inner tension. When you hit it with a metal piece, it goes like cling. Because of this inner tension, it's still developing. If you do the same with a marble, it goes glong, has no sound. So this material has sound because it's unfinished. So it's in the process of becoming something else as a material already. I think our collaboration with Paolo Armenise and Silvia Nerbi has been quite tremendous, because the exchange between Italy and Norway actually enhanced the way of thinking. So you have a discussion between two architectural professions, two architectural offices with two different cultural backgrounds. So again, the process is mutant, which is kind of interesting in this collaboration. We do that quite often, work with different architects in different settings around the world, and we learn a lot from them, all the time. But also with Marmotec actually taking the initiative and inviting us to do this and using their materials is kind of a very interesting experience for us, because you're able to work directly with the producer. I think for the moment, the most interesting changes in both historic and contemporary cities are the social spaces. Everything between the buildings, you could say, everything that relates to public human activity, social activities. And there are a number of quite good public spaces being done around the world. We've seen that developing, for instance, along the coastline of Marseille, where you give back to the people big areas of landscape, of public parks, of spaces, public spaces, but not so many extraordinary buildings, really. The buildings are really there to enhance certain activities for the public to engage. And I think, to some extent, that's the big challenge in the future, is social sustainability, as we call it. Not necessarily the sustainability of technical elements or energy, but, the energy represented by you and me, What is architecture about if it doesn't engage you? It's all about engagement. And this type of happening is also about engagement. So by engaging people, let architecture engage you, means that you also move it into the eyes of the public. Means you engage the public. So you have this crossing point, this overlap between the public itself and the designers and the architects, which is great. And it's the way it should be. You sort of, not to diminish the designer's role, but just to mingle into different parts of society. And this is what contemporary architecture has been doing too little, because it's been sitting on its high throne and saying architecture is for us. But it's not for us, it's for everybody.